Okay, so when you are doing these type of problems, the main thing that you want to do is add your exponents when they look like this. So for example, you have x to the 7 times x to the 4. So you're just going to take your x, since they have the same base, and you just add those two exponents together. So you get x to the 11, and that is the answer. Same thing here, when you have parentheses, you're still multiplying. So you still follow the same rules. There was no numbers in front on number 1, so you didn't have to worry about multiplying anything. But like on number 2, you're going to multiply the numbers that are out front just like you normally would. So 3 times 2 is 6. And then you have x to the 5th times x to the 1. So you just add those exponents. So that would be x to the 6th, and that would be your answer. On number 3, going back to the parentheses here, there's really no number for 9 to be multiplied by, so 9 is going to stay out front. X to the 5th times, because remember times, x to the 3rd, so you add the exponent, x to the 8th. Since y to the 0 is equal to 0, y to the 0 is equal to 1, you don't have to worry about writing it again, you can just let it be, and that would be your answer. So you would have basically 9x to the 5th times 1x to the 3rd, y to the 0. So 9 times 1 is 9. X to the 5th times x to the 3rd is going to be x to the 8. And since y to the 0 is 1, you just multiply this by 1 and you get that answer. On number 4, and let me erase this right here so that I have my space back. So on this one here, there's 7x squared y times negative 1x to the 4 y to the 6. So you multiply 7 times negative 1, which is negative 7. The x's have the exponents 2 and 4, so add the 2 plus 4. And then y to the 1, x, and y to the 6, so that's y to the 7, because 1 plus 6 is 7. Now down here on the ones where you're dividing, you simplify by doing what it says to do with the numbers. So you have 18 divided by 6, which is 3. Then you have x to the 5th divided by x to the 1. In this case, you're going to want to subtract the smaller exponent. So 1 is smaller than 5, so you subtract 1 so that it cancels out. Subtract 1 up here, and that gives you x to the 4th. So your final answer is 3, x to the 4th. Let's see. Let's look at number 11, because you have multiple exponents. So if you do it piece by piece, so negative 14 over 49, sorry, 7 will go into both of these, so you want to reduce the fraction just like you normally would. So 7 will go into 14 2 times, so I'm going to keep the negative sign. 7 will go into 49 7 times. So the numeric part will reduce to 2 over 7. Now you take your exponents. So since 3 is smaller than 8, I'm going to subtract 3. So that gives me x to the 5th. 4 is smaller than 5, so I'm going to subtract the 4 to make that one cancel out. And I get y to the 1 in the bottom. And again, since 1 is the exponent, you don't have to put a 1 as an exponent. So this would be your final answer. Let's see. Let's look at number 13 because it has a negative. I'm going to do the same thing with my plain numbers here. So 5 over 15. 5 will go into itself 1 time. 5 will go into 15 3 times. So 5 will go in 1 time. 5 will go in 3 times. Now I'm going to do my exponents. Negative 4 is smaller than 3. So instead of subtracting 4, since it's already negative, I'm going to add 4. So I'm going to add 4 up here. So now negative 4 plus 4 makes that cancel. And now I have x to the 7 in the top. Since 2 is smaller than 8, I'm going to subtract it because it's positive. So you always do the opposite so that you can make it cancel out. So we were able to add 4 to the negative to make it cancel, and we were able to subtract 2 from the positive to make it cancel. And then that would be your final answer there. All right, so I'm going to go back to the other page. Did I add it? Okay. Let me add the other one where you have done quite a bit of work already. All right, on this one, this is good. So this one is good. This one, I would not leave it as a decimal because I feel like it will be counted wrong. When you have a negative exponent, you're just going to turn it into a fraction by putting 1 in the top. So that would be 1 over 2 to the positive 5th because we moved it from a negative to a positive. So your answer winds up being 1 over, let's see, what is 2 to the 5th? 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, and 16 times 2 would be 32. So your answer would be 1 over 32. This one's good. This one here, you have negative 2 to the 7th power. That is good. This 5 to the negative 3 is going to be 1 over 5 to the positive 3, which would be 1 over 125. So I would go through and convert all your ones you have as decimals. This one looks good. I would convert that one. So this one here, you moved your negative 5 to the bottom, to your denominator and made it positive. That's good. This x to the 0 became 1, so that's good, but don't leave off the 9. So I would just make this 9 over y to the 5th. This one here, you kept this in the numerator, you kept this in the numerator, you moved this to the denominator, and that is perfect. Here, they switched places, so good job. 2x to the 4, those are good. You moved these two to the bottom, so those look good. Here on this one, since it's 3 to the negative 5th, and you switched it and put everything in the denominator, I would also take care of that 3 to the 5th. So I would do 1 over whatever 3 to the 5th is. I don't know that off the top of my head, so let me do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. That's 243. So this is 243 xy to the 4th. So you may want to go ahead and simplify that 3 to the 5th. Like you did here. You did 9 squared is 81. X to the 4th, and you move that up, and you have that there. You don't have to keep the 1 in the bottom, but it's still the right answer. This one here, you switched the x to the 9 in the bottom. You kept the y to the 3 in the top. This 2 to the 5th. So again, if you think back up here, we had 2 to the 5th. So you want to turn that into a 32 y cubed over x to the 9th. So these look good. This negative 4 to the 3rd power, so that's going to be 4 to the 3rd power. So 4 times 4 times 4 is 64, but that negative out front makes it negative 64. And then the z is going to come to the top. The x will go to the bottom, and the y will stay in the bottom because it's positive there. So this would be your final answer here. All right, I think that might clear up some confusion. Let me know if it doesn't, okay? Good luck, honey.